Good morning, everyone. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is T.B.Josua, and you are welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking impasse free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-development. And if that's what resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us, give us a like, share this video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back. And I thank you for your love and support. I've been seeing a documentary, just a little bit of, short videos here and there online about T.B.Josua, okay, the late. He's now late because I understand that he passed away, I think, a couple of years ago. Now, there is news coming out that this was a cult. Am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. But personally, I don't want to be judgmental because I was not a member of this church. Although I used to watch a lot of videos back in the days. Sometimes I used to watch them online on YouTube. So there was those days when I used to still really strongly believe in organized religion, okay? So for the most of you guys, our Nigerian friends, and some of you guys who have been at that church, you can just let us know. Let us know your experience. What has been happening there? Maybe you've been there, maybe you've seen some of these things personally, so you can always let us know. It's just a discussion, okay? I'm not here to judge anyone or their ministry. I'm just here to give my insights of what I usually believe I saw in these sections of, religious organizations and, during my lifetime. Let us know what you guys think at the end of the video. We're just doing an open discussion. Like I've said, I did not know T.B.Josua personally, okay? I've never been to that church. I watched some of their videos and everything. Even at one point, I remember that I believed it was legit, okay? Now, a lot of people are looking for answers. Some people are looking for healing. Some people are looking for miracles. And sometimes, if a person has got a very strong religious background, the very first place they are going to run to normally is going to be the church, because that is the easiest way they can go, and probably there's a pastor in the church or something. Maybe they have some news that a lot of things are happening in that church. So sometimes they are going there to kind of get answers to different questions that they have in their lives. I'll tell you a short story, ladies and gentlemen, of my own experience. So many years ago, I think it was around 2006, 7, around that time. So I visited one church, very big one, huge, humongous. So we're in the service, and then this pastor says, like, okay, so you guys, for the most of you guys, it was time to give the offerings. You know that time when they're giving the offerings. So the guy was like, it was time to give the offerings. And according to what I remember, guys, it's a bit cold, so I don't even know I may be having. So the pastor was like, the ones who have got 1 million should be the first ones to come. So the ones who had the million in that time, they came out the pulpit, they gave their money, and then there was a certain blessing that was prayed for them, then they left. And then there was the next ones who, so the prices started from 3 million. And then eventually they came down to 1 million, and of course there was a 500,000. Now in that time, I was struggling back in the days. I was struggling. I just lost my job in that time. And I remember that my partner was pregnant at the time. So I waited for the ones who they said that the ones who had 500,000. So I think in that time, I don't remember. I could have had about 1,000 or 2,000 shillings, our local money in that time. I was like, I'm not going to miss this blessing, you know. So I stood up as well, and I came, and I also stood with the ones who had 500,000. I held it in my hand, you know. I held it in my fist like that. So I came there, and of course nobody would see that, oh, this one had 500,000, this one had this. So me, when I came, I stood behind the ones with 500,000. So we dropped our money on the pulpit, and of course a blessing was prayed. The pastor prayed for us a blessing, and of course we left. And I remember it took about a week or two, and then I got a very big deal. It was a very big deal that time. I think there was a concert, so we was asked to come and participate in that concert. So in that concert, actually, it went very well, and I made a lot of money. Okay, it was the very first time I made a lot of money. I'd never seen that much money in my life. Okay, I made a lot of money in that concert. Okay, and when I went back home, I thought that I was like, oh, so was this thing a miracle? Did the miracle just happen because of the offering I gave in that time and everything? So I was starting to think a lot of things. And then I came back to the church later on the following week, and I gave my testimony. So I remember when I gave the testimony, one of the ushers pulled me at the side, because there are some ushers in that church, so they were watching. So they pulled me on the side and they said, oh wow, we liked your testimony, so we would like you to come with us on the radio station. You know, come with us on the radio station, because we want people to hear your testimony on the radio station. So that pastor had a session at the radio at a local radio station, whereby people would come and give their testimonies on radio. I said, okay, there's no problem, I'll come. So we made an appointment, and I arrived at the time that we had agreed. And still, when I came at the radio station, these ushers, these runners of that church, they called me so they called me on the side again, and they told me, okay, so do you know what you're going to say? So you have to say like this, you have to say like that, and you have to speak like this, and you cannot speak like that, and you cannot speak like this. So for me, it was like a red flag. I was like, okay, so that means that before you give any testimony, you need to first get some little bit of coaching, so they need to know what you're going to speak. Because remember that you're going to be on air, and you're going to speak organically. So they want to be sure that you're not going to go on radio, on air, and say something that is going to destroy their image or something like that. So maybe they know that there are some people who can do that, okay? Well, that wasn't the person like that. So from that point forthwards, I started having a little bit of questions. I was thinking a little bit that I didn't have all the answers in that time, but I thought that there was something that was not very clear at the time, okay? So eventually, I later on learned, it was I think like 3-4 months later, that this particular pastor had been arrested because they had been caught in a fraud, okay? So the pastor in that time, the one who was running that church, he was arrested and actually was jailed. There was a lot of cases of fraud, and there was some other criminal charges they had put on him, okay? So anyhow, it wasn't the only church that I went. I still, like I've told you guys, I went again to a couple of different other churches. It was still the same scenario. I went there, it was still about money. You know, the ones who had the bigger money should go in the first. The ones with the lesser money should be the last. I left that one. I went to another one. I remember even I went to one church, and at the end of the service, I told you guys one time. So I'm standing on the window, the service is finished, and I'm standing behind on the window waiting for the rain, because it was raining, and I was waiting to go home. And by some chance, I heard some voices behind me. I was standing on the window, and the window was open, so I heard some voices. And on looking inside, the pastor was standing with, there was like 2 guys, they were soldiers. I think these were the bodyguards, with guns, they were armed. And they was counting money, you know what I mean? So when they saw that I was, they noticed that somebody was standing on the window and I was looking at them. So they came very quickly and shut the window and closed the curtains. And they were counting the money, you know, trying to look around who is watching and everything. So I started to feel like this was not the right place to be, okay? Now, with this kind of churches, we can go on and on and on and on and on. I've seen even sometimes on TV, there are some churches. I've seen a pastor telling these church members to bark like dogs, you know. I've seen another church somewhere on the radio, I think that was in South Africa. Another pastor was still caught. There was allegations of fraud again, something involving money and everything. He was arrested. And actually, I think his church was closed. And I remember also another church watching another one. I don't remember it was which country. And there was another church who the pastor told the church members that they should buy underwear. So he told the women they should buy underwear. And that underwear had pictures of the pastor's image on the underwear. So there was like a picture of that pastor of that church on the underwear. So he told them that when you buy this underwear, you will receive a lot of miracles, you know, because these underwears, they are anointed and everything, and you're going to receive miracles and stuff like that. So I continue to watch a lot of different horrible, unexplainable things in so many different kinds of churches. I started to distance myself a little bit from this kind of organized religions. You know, I started having my own doubts, because there was a lot of red flags popping up here and there about this kind of units. And I was thinking that sometimes people have only their own selfish reasons of starting this kind of units. Okay, so sometimes these people, they are feeding off of vulnerable people who are very vulnerable, people who are like seeking for answers. You know, sometimes you would see a lot of people, they have got different problems in their lives, they need answers, and they end up joining these units to get some kind of help, you know, whatever, you know, any form, even the slightest bit of help. Now, I've got my reasons why I decided to leave organized religion, and I've been saying this again and again in my videos. I've told you guys, listen, me personally, everybody has got free will. Everybody can do what they want. Okay, it's a free world. You can decide to follow a church or religion. You can decide to do what you want to do. But me personally, according to my own experience, which has been a very long-term experience, we're talking about a lot of years, I've been in so many churches and I've had my own view of what I think about those organizations. But at the moment, people are starting to believe these were not really churches. These were like some kind of cults. You know, I've told you guys, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. For the most of you guys who don't know this already, the devil also hides in the church. If you guys didn't know this, the devil also hides in the church. A lot of these leaders, even some of the members you see in those churches, many of them, they're running a cult. Okay, they know that whatever they are doing is not the truth. They know this, so they try to use religion as a cover. Okay, because you know, when you stand behind religion, it is going to be very easy to make people believe that whatever you're doing is the truth. So you'll get a lot of followers and everything. They are very much concerned about the numbers. So they need the numbers, because it is the numbers which actually contribute to the funding of those kind of organizations and everything, you know. The stories are unbelievable. If you look at Africa, for example, a lot of the countries that are third world, of course, there is so many people who are standing behind those kind of units and churches. But let me tell you something, guys, what you don't even know. A lot of those organizations and churches, those are cults, okay? And a lot of them even are run by narcissists. If you look very secretly and closely to what those churches, the members of those churches are doing behind the scenes, it's unbelievable. You'll hear stories of women being raped in those churches sometimes. You hear stories of people losing their money. You'll hear stories of people selling their properties just because they want to donate to a church, so they have to sell their land, they have to sell their homes. You'll hear stories of very unexplainable things that have continued to happen in those kind of organizations. So again, for all of you guys, like I've told you, I'm not really standing behind religion, because for me, I've got very strong reasons as to why I no longer believe in organized religion, okay? I'm a spiritual person, I'm happy with my spirituality, and I know that I can think for myself. It doesn't have to be the same for you. You might have your own views of what you feel, maybe that's how you want, that's the only thing you have known your entire life, it's the only thing that you believe in, which is okay. I've told you guys, for me, I'm a spiritual person. I stick to my spirituality, but at the same time, I do not have any form of problems or issues with religious people. You're allowed to believe what you want. You're allowed to follow which church you want. But you see, as we're coming into this year, especially this 2024, you guys are starting to notice that the veil is becoming real thinner, okay? There's a lot of truths that are coming out to the surface. Recently, we had stories about, what is this guy's name? T.B.Josua. We're still seeing a lot of stories that are coming out to the surface. Things that have been happening over the years, behind the scenes, of so many religious leaders, sometimes even Hollywood actors, sometimes even very, very famous people. We're starting to see and understand these individuals for who they, to really see them for who they are. And we're starting to see that they have been always wearing a mask this entire time, okay? In anything you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, you just have to know. Do it authentically, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be too greedy, because these kind of things show you that the world is starting to be greedy, and sometimes they are finding every possible way to make money. And there's no easier way of making money than using the human resource to make money. And sometimes you have to lie. Most of them have to lie to them that, listen, you have to believe this or you have to believe that. But a lot of these organizations, actually, they are run by very, very big narcissists. Even some of them are even psychopaths, you know. So when you hear the stories that are coming out recently, you can understand, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of people are lost. A person can devote a very big time of their lives following the wrong religion, following the wrong community, following the wrong organizations, you know. So like I've said, the stories that I've heard about Joshua recently, I think that was yesterday, they are unbelievable, you know. The stories that I've heard about Joshua, they're unbelievable. I'm not really surprised. I've already seen a lot of examples of these so-called churches and everything, and I'm starting to understand that there's a lot of criminal activity that is hiding behind those so-called churches. So you guys, you have to be very careful. Take your time before you start following anything, you know. Try to question everything. Ladies and gentlemen, do not just jump into anything without actually getting the details. Do your research. Do your own research. On this channel, like I've told you guys before, I'm not running around seeking for followers, okay? I built this channel from scratch. I've stuck with my authenticity. Authentic is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you do, make sure that it's coming out of the heart, and let things flow organically. Don't just try to do things because you want to pull some crowds, you want to pull followers, you want to pull, you need the likes, and then you need the subscribers, and you need this. Ladies and gentlemen, don't do these kind of things, because at the end of the day, these things are going to come back at you, okay? In the long run, if you're doing something inorganically, it is going to come back and hit you in the face, okay? So whatever you do, stick to your story. Make sure that that story is authentic. It is coming from your heart, and make sure that you're doing it for genuine reasons. You really want to help somebody, okay? Don't go around standing behind religion, behind this, and you know that you're a narcissist, and you're going around starting to lie to people. I've seen so many narcissists, unbelievable. Very many narcissists are hiding in the church. Now you can imagine a lot of followers, very, very beautiful people with good intentions. They're standing behind these churches. They're being lied to for the rest of their lives, you know. How do you explain that, you know? So like I've said, guys, my view and my take on organized religion, it may not be the same as yours. I've got my own views. You're free to have your own views. And this is just a discussion. You can always tell us what you think about your own experience in the comment section below, and what you think about especially our brothers and sisters from Nigeria. If you have something you know, maybe you have heard or you have seen, you can always let us know, okay? So we are in this age of information whereby a lot of things are coming out to light, are coming to the light. The veil is becoming thinner. The masks are falling all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. The masks are falling all over the place. The truth is coming to light. People are starting to wake up. I've seen members of that church who have been tied up as slaves. They're explaining the situation that they have been slaves for so many years and they couldn't realize that they was following a cult. So a lot of them are coming out with the real truth of what was happening behind the scenes, because there's always something that is happening behind the scenes. Okay? So you must have your own judgment and you must take your time, ladies and gentlemen. Do not rush into anything, especially a lot of you guys who are following these organized religions. There is some people who have and who are doing these religions for their own benefits. These are gold mines, okay? You will see them driving Bentleys, you see them driving private planes, growing unbelievably filthy rich in a very short period of time just because they're running some church, and usually they're using the members of that church to cater for their own needs, for their own selfish needs, okay? So take your time with these kind of things, ladies and gentlemen. There's no rush. If you feel something is wrong, you're not happy with it, you have a will, there is no force. You don't have to believe me, you don't have to believe another coach, you don't have to believe another pastor. Do your own research, okay? Do your own research and take your time and make your own judgment before you fully step into something, because sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, you can be following the biggest psychopath in town, and that thing sometimes can take years, because there is people that are even bonded into religion and they don't even know it, and they are following the wrong religion. Okay, so let us know what you think. What are your views about these churches? For the most of you guys, the church goers, let us know what has been your experience this entire time in the comment section below. You guys know that I said I always do love and appreciate your support. You can always book a session if you want to. There will be an email in the comment section below. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. T.B.Josua signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.